In this episode of 6 Degrees of Separation in Sci-Fi and Fantasy, we connect Stanley Kubrick's 1968-2001 A Space Odyssey to the 2016 Comic Sci-Fi blockbuster Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool. No, just Deadpool.
Named the greatest film of all time by the Moving Arts Film Journal in 2010 and selected for preservation by the U.S. Library of Congress, 2001 A Space Odyssey originally had people scratching their heads trying to figure out what it was all about. Written by Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke, 2001 A Space Odyssey follows the influence of an alien monolith on the evolution of man. It is also one of the first films to explore artificial intelligence with HAL 9000.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Because of initial low box office turnout, MGM planned to pull 2001 A Space Odyssey from theaters, but was convinced not to by theater owners who noticed more and more young moviegoers coming to see the film, especially for the over 5-minute Stargate sequence. Why? Because of the effect psychotropic drugs had on their viewing experience. So, depending on how you look at it, this was a good thing for MGM. 2001 A Space Odyssey went on to become the highest-grossing North American film in 1968. It accumulated 13 Oscar nominations and won one for special visual effects.
The winner is Stanley Kubrick, 2008. Mr. Kubrick unfortunately cannot be with us tonight, so we'll have his Oscar delivered to Mars, where he is scouting locations for 2002 Space Odyssey Revisited.
Even though Kubrick was named sole winner, many technicians were credited for the award-winning effects, including our First Degree of Separation, 2001 A Space Odyssey's special photographic effects supervisor, Douglas Huntley Trumbull. Trumbull is known for his groundbreaking effects in film, but it was in the late 70s and early 80s when Trumbull patented a cinematic process known as show scan that combines a large format film with a high-speed frame rate. But things took a different turn for Trumbull's show scan. Instead of being used for films released in theaters, it was used for show ride films. Visual effects run in the Trumbull family. Douglas's father, the late Donald Trumbull, was a visual effects specialist in his own right, with 2 Academy Awards to show for it. The Trumbulls worked together on a couple of films, including Steven Spielberg's 1977 Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Close Encounters of the Third Kind follows Roy Neary, played by Richard Dreyfuss, whose life is turned upside down after he encounters a UFO and the attempt of scientists to communicate with its extraterrestrials by using lights and sounds. And one of those sounds is our second degree of separation, the 5-note motif composed by John Williams. During a preview of Close Encounters, the audience apparently didn't like the choice of music Spielberg chose for the closing credits, When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio. He then replaced the song with an orchestral version of the 5-note melody. The 5-note melody was not the only way the aliens and humans communicated. The hand signals used in the film are also used to teach the solfège scale. After receiving permission from Steven Spielberg, the late Albert R. Broccoli used the melody in the 1979 Moonraker, the 11th film of the James Bond franchise, and the 4th to star Sir Roger Moore. The melody was used as an entry code for an electronic door lock in one of the scenes. James Bond films have been around for over 3 generations, and Moonraker is the only film of the franchise in the sci-fi genre. In Moonraker, James Bond is sent on a mission to investigate the theft of a space shuttle and discovers a plot to wipe out most of the world's population, leaving the survivors to be controlled by a master race. The shuttle in Moonraker was modeled after NASA's Columbia Space Shuttle. However, at the beginning of filming, NASA had not officially finalized the design. But since there weren't subsequent changes, the shuttle in Moonraker was considered an accurate rendition. As with all James Bond films, Moonraker delivers the action we've come to expect. In the opening scene, James Bond is pushed out of a plane and has to fight for a parachute in mid-air. And it is in this scene that we take a plunge with our third degree, Jack Lombard, Moonraker's skydiving stunt double. In this scene, Jack and stuntman BJ Worth wear the actual parachutes concealed under their suit jackets, which have to be removed before the chutes can be deployed. Considering the small amount of freefall time, the scene required 88 jumps over a 5-week period to film. Throughout his long career, Jack Lombard has been credited for his work on many films, including the 2001 remake of Planet of the Apes, directed by Tim Burton, starring Mark Wahlberg. Even though Planet of the Apes was plagued with what some considered a confusing plot and ending, it didn't fall short on stunt-filled scenes. Planet of the Apes earned over triple its budget at the box office and accolades for its makeup and costumes, winning a BAFTA for each. As quoted by the late Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, the movie is great looking. The sets and locations give us a proper sense of awe. And that proper sense of awe is what leads us to our fourth degree of separation, Lake Powell. The second largest man-made reservoir, Lake Powell was formed in the late 50s, early 60s after the newly constructed Glen Canyon Dam backed up the Colorado River and flooded the Glen Canyon. Lake Powell stretches 186 miles from North Arizona to southern Utah, and today is one of the major vacation spots in the US, attracting 2 million visitors a year. In 2016, the International Space Station, with the use of the EarthCam, took this picture of Lake Powell. The EarthCam, which is part of the Sally Ride EarthCam program, is designed to teach middle school students around the world about the Earth from the perspective of space. With its steep sandstone walls, Lake Powell has become a backdrop for a number of TV shows and films, including Doctor Who, Planet of the Apes, the 1968 original, and the 2001 remake. It is also the location for the 2012 John Carter, directed by Andrew Stanton, starring Taylor Kitsch as John Carter and Lynn Collins as the princess Dahlia Thoris. Based off of the first book of the Barsoom series, A Princess of Mars, written by Edgar Rice Burroughs, John Carter tells the story of a former Civil War captain who is transported to the world of Barsoom and finds himself in the middle of a centuries-old war between the two cities of Helium and Zodonga.
You will fight for us!
And a plot of the Therns to bring the world of Barsoom to its doom. There are a number of familiar faces and voices of sci-fi and fantasy that can be found in John Carter. But it's Taylor Kitsch and Lynn Collins who we find as mutants in the 2009 X-Men Origins Wolverine. However, it was Wolverine played by Hugh Jackman who caught the eye of Lynn Collins' character, Kayla Silverfox. It wasn't just the grand locations, graphics, costumes, and cute space dogs that helped set the tone for John Carter. It was also the music scored by our fifth degree of separation, Oscar-winning composer Michael Giukino. Michael Giukino may not be a familiar name to most sci-fi and fantasy fans, but his music has made an impact on video games, movies, and TV shows, with 6 Annie Awards, a Primetime Emmy, a Golden Globe, 3 Grammys, a BAFTA, an Oscar, and a number of other awards to show for it. In the late 90s, Steven Spielberg hired Michael to compose the music for the Lost World Jurassic Park video game, which became the first PlayStation game to have a live orchestral score. Between 2008 and 2013, Michael composed music for 74 episodes of the hit sci-fi TV show Fringe, created by J.J. Abrams, Alex Kurtzman, and Roberto Orci. For 5 seasons, Fringe explored mysteries of the unexplained and parallel universes with the help of Fringe science, The Observer, and Jean the Cow.
Is that a cow?
Yeah, that's Jean.
So before we get into our 6th and final degree of separation, let's recap.
Let's count them down.
Our first degree of separation is ShowScan inventor Douglas Huntley Trumbull, who was the special photographic effects supervisor for the 1968-2001 A Space Odyssey and contributing effects specialist for the 1977 Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Our second degree is the simple 5-note motif, composed by John Williams, was used in Close Encounters of the Third Kind to communicate with the aliens who came in peace, and the entry code for an electronic door in the 1979 Moonraker. And falling over and over and over again is our third degree of separation, Moonraker's stunt double, Jack Lombard, who was also part of the stunt team for the 2001 remake of Planet of the Apes. Viewed from among the stars is our 4th degree Planet of the Apes production location, Lake Powell, which also served as the backdrop for the 2012 John Carter. The 5th degree is award-winning composer Michael Giukino, who composed the music for John Carter and 74 episodes of the hit sci-fi TV series Fringe. Now, on to our 6th and final degree of separation. The first season of Fringe brought in over 10 million viewers, and throughout its 5-year run, Fringe was filled with all sorts of amazing makeup and effects. In the 2 episodes Transformation and Bound, we find our 6th degree, puppet designer and prosthetics makeup and effects artist Andy Clement. Andy has close to 40 years of experience working on films and TV shows such as Babylon 5, Grimm, Star Trek, Thor: The Dark World, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Andy's family is no stranger to the world of sci-fi. Andy's wife, Elizabeth, as a child was part of a new world and new civilization explored by her father, William Shatner, Star Trek's Captain Kirk. In 2010, Andy worked with his father-in-law on the documentary series Aftermath with William Shatner, and on the 2011 documentary The Captains. But it was as prosthetics co-designer Andy helped give Marvel's favorite mercenary and the bane of Wolverine's existence a new look for the big screen.
I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Pulverine.
Starring Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool is not like any other mutant in the world of Marvel. With his dark and twisted sense of humor, Deadpool holds no punches.
Oh, your poor wife!
Because of his enhanced cell regeneration, Deadpool tends to walk away from life-threatening injuries. Well, somewhat. Originally introduced to the big screen in X-Men Origins Wolverine, Deadpool was dead set on killing Wolverine, and it took Deadpool 2 to right that wrong and clean up the timeline.
Hey, it's me! Don't scratch!
Fans have always questioned why Deadpool has been unwilling to be an X-Men.
The day I decided to become a crime-fighting shit-swizzler who rooms with a bunch of other little whiners at the Neverland mansion of some creepy, old, bald, Heaven's Gate-looking motherfucker, on that day, I'll send your shiny happy ass a friend request.
Even though Deadpool refuses to join the X-Men, and Wolverine met his demise in the 2017 Logan, many fans are still hoping to see the new Deadpool and Wolverine share the same screen. So until that time comes, if it does, I would like to thank you for joining us for another episode of 6 Degrees of Separation in Sci-Fi and Fantasy. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see new episodes as they're posted.